Hello and welcome to Girls for Greatness. I am your host, Delia Perry, and I am on a mission to help you rock a life empowered by your own greatness. This show features the incredible stories of women who have overcome their own struggles in order to find triumphant success. It is my hope that their stories will inspire and motivate you to do whatever it takes to live the life you really and truly were meant to live. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls for Greatness podcast. I am your host, Delia Perry, and you are listening in to episode number 167, a solo cast with yours truly, the first solo cast of this season. I did kick off season 5 of the podcast in September and have had the honor of having some truly remarkable conversations with some pretty amazing guests. However, I wanted to kind of mix things up a bit this week and just talk to you all about something that I myself have had a lot of thoughts about lately. And that something is in direct relation to a quote I came across a few weeks ago, a quote by Nelson Mandela. Maybe some of you have heard it before. The quote reads, "There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." I'm going to read that again. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. You know, my friends, I've been thinking a lot about what it means to play small and how easy it is to slip into playing small. I think playing small and settling go hand in hand. So often, when we fall into a mentality of this is just the way things are, or this is as good as it's going to get, what we are really doing is settling. And I think in some ways, what we are really doing is selling ourselves short. We are choosing to underestimate our abilities and what we are truly capable of. We underestimate our ability to make different choices or to move in a different direction. Now, understand, I also think that there is a huge difference between being content and genuinely at peace with where you are at in your life and playing small. I think playing small and being content are not the same. And I just want to be clear that if you are in a place of contentment right now, then you should celebrate the good space you are in. Rather, what I'm talking about today is the way we shrink down the life we want to be living and settle for something we know deep within ourselves is not the life we want. I also think this whole idea of playing small can be reflected in the habits we choose and the day-to-day choices we make and how we spend our time. It can also be reflected in the career path we choose and even in the relationships we invite into our lives. I genuinely feel like there is sometimes a knowing, a still small voice that we hear, that knowing or voice that tells us that we are capable of so much more and that we were made for so much more. That is the voice we so easily drown out or ignore. And that is the voice I personally, you guys, am trying to pause and listen to. So about a month ago, I sent out my first email of the season, which, by the way, if you are interested, all you need to do is go to www.girlsforgreatness.com and you'll see a pop-up. And then you can actually just sign up for those emails, which I promise are hopefully motivating, and they are always usually short and sweet. Anyway, so in that email, I wrote a little about how I was toying with the idea of not coming back to podcasting this season. I was feeling a little depleted at the end of the last season, and I was really questioning whether I felt led to start things back up again after the summer. Well, obviously, I did, in fact, decide to do another season. But my friends, I had to tune into that voice, that intuition that was speaking to me about the fact that I did have it within me to record another season and that I also needed this podcast as much as you all, my listeners, do. You know, it's always easier to drown out that voice that tells us to settle or to play small when we know deep within us that there is more. And now, quite honestly, I'm finding myself having to be more mindful, to not drown out the voice I have within that is reminding me that maybe there is still something more I was meant to do with the gifts I have been given. Maybe there's another way for me to give of myself to this world in hopes that others will be inspired and motivated to go after their best life as well. Unfortunately, I don't have anything too specific to report on right now, but stay tuned. The point is, I am working to live out that quote by Nelson Mandela. I'm working to not settle for a life that is less than the one I am capable of living. I have always been a huge believer in getting a little better each and every day and pursuing a life that is filled with passion and purpose, not one in which I feel I am merely existing and surviving. I know you're with me on that too because you're here listening to this. You too were made to live a life in which you don't settle for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. I have always said you are worth the work it takes to live the life you were meant to live. And maybe for some of you listening to me today, you need to be reminded that that work may just be as simple as tuning into that still, small voice within you. Maybe this is your reminder to not squelch your intuition, but to instead turn towards it. My friends, I know we are coming up on the holidays, the craziest time of the year, right? At least for many of us. And I know you may be thinking, I don't have the time to tune into my intuition. However, I plead with you to not let the holiday or whatever else you have going on in your life stop you. You are worth taking the time to just listen, to acknowledge the voice that may be encouraging you to make a shift or a change in some area of your life. So with that, my friends, I'm signing off. I will be coming back at you in a few weeks with another inspiring, empowering interview with another amazing warrior who is out in the world sharing their own uniqueness with the world. And speaking of uniqueness and greatness, remember yours is unique and beautiful as well. You have something that this world needs, something that only you were created to give. I say it all the time, you guys, but you matter, and so does your unique, powerful, beautiful greatness.